So I did something that I now realize was absolutely insane. I decided to let a Windows user choose my Linux distro. Now, hear me out, this was meant to be a fun experiment. I thought it would be hilarious to see what someone who has no experience with Linux would pick. Surely, it couldn't be that bad, right? Wrong. Very, very wrong. The whole idea started as a joke. I've been using Linux for years. I've tried Ubuntu, Fedora, Arch Manjaro, name it. I know which distros are friendly, which are unstable, and which are basically nightmares in disguise. But I thought, why not? Let someone completely unfamiliar with Linux pick my distro and see what happens. I reached out to my friend Kevin. Kevin is the kind of Windows user who thinks command prompt is a weapon of mass destruction. He once asked me why Windows even has the task manager, because it looks complicated. I gave him one simple instruction: pick a distro. I'll install it and use it for a week. And then I walked away, leaving him with all the power. 10 minutes later, I got a message. Done. You're welcome. Naturally, I assumed he'd picked something safe. Something like Ubuntu or Linux Mint. The usual user-friendly stuff that just works. I braced myself for mild chaos, maybe a few funny moments, but nothing could have prepared me for what came next. Kevin had picked Gentoo. Yes, Gentoo. The same Gentoo that is unofficially nicknamed Linux for Masochists. For context, Gentoo is not your average Linux distro. You don't just download it, click next, and boom, it's installed. Everything must be compiled from source. The kernel, system, utilities, even your web browser. And Kevin, blissfully unaware of any of this, had chosen it because, and I quote, it looked cool on Wikipedia. The installation started, and I quickly realized the magnitude of my mistake. Gentoo doesn't have a graphical installer. There's no simple click next, done interface. Instead, it's all terminal-based, all manual, all terrifying. Partitioning the disk was manageable, but compiling the kernel, that was a nightmare. And then came the emerge commands the system package manager, which compiles everything from source hours past. And Kevin kept messaging me, is it supposed to take this long? No, Kevin. It's not supposed to take this long. It's supposed to make you question every life decision that led you to this moment. As I followed the Gentoo handbook, I started to feel a strange mix of awe and terror. Step by step, I typed commands, configured USE flags, compiled libraries. Every typo felt like a betrayal. Every failed compile, a personal insult. Kevin had effectively turned my week into a Linux boot camp for the soul. And of course, when I finally thought I was done, the system refused to boot. I had missed a minor step in the bootloader configuration, and suddenly I was staring at a blank screen. Beniki Seching. Hours of work gone in an instant. But I didn't give up. I dove into forums, Reddit threads, Gentoo wikis, and obscure blog posts. People were discussing USE flags for optimal KDE performance on ThinkPad. Some discussions were written like cryptic philosophy texts. I realized very quickly that letting a Windows user pick my Linux distro was effectively signing up for a week of digital torture disguised as education. After hours, and then days, the system finally booted. Victory. Not exactly. I soon realized that even basic tasks were now incredibly complicated. Want to install that's a couple of hours of compiling VLC? Say goodbye to your weekend? And updates, don't even think about it. Updating Gentoo is like defusing a bomb blindfolded. You never know which package will destroy your system. Kevin's decision had unleashed a monster, and I was now living inside it. Using the system day to day was another layer of chaos. Checking email, browsing the web, watching videos all became elaborate rituals. I started to feel like every program had its own personality. Firefox, compiled from source, occasionally refused to launch and stared at me silently, as if judging my Alsa. The sound system required editing configuration files I didn't even know existed. Updating the system required careful reading of Gentoo news items to avoid breaking my carefully built environment. It was exhausting, but strangely rewarding. And the social aspect was hilarious. Linux friends messaged me, "Why Gentoo? Are you insane?" Windows friends didn't understand at all. "Why don't you just install Windows?" Kevin, of course, was delighted. Every problem I had described to him was a victory in his mind. He had no idea what Gentoo even required, but he was thrilled to have caused me so much chaos. It was like letting a toddler rearrange your furniture and then watching you trip over it for days. But despite all the frustration, There was something beautiful about it. Gentoo forced me to understand the system in a way I never had before. USC flags, kernel modules, compiling packages from source.it was a crash course in Linux at the deepest level. Kevin may have chosen chaos, but I learned more about Linux in that week than I had in years of casual use. It was educational chaos, the kind that teaches you patience, persistence, and humility. By the middle of the week, I had a routine: compile a package, fix a library, test the system, repeat. I started recognizing patterns, anticipating errors, even feeling confident. The terminal no longer intimidated me. It was a challenge, a puzzle, a conversation with my computer. Kevin kept checking in, completely unaware of what I was going through. "Is it done yet?" he asked. "No, Kevin. It's never done." That's the point. Halfway through the experiment, I began documenting the chaos. Screenshots of compile errors, cryptic terminal messages, and notes about USC flags became a diary of pain and triumph. I laughed at myself constantly. Watching videos and working on documents became a performance of extreme patience. Every small victory: Firefox launching VLC, playing a video, was a cause for celebration. I even started to enjoy the weird, masochistic satisfaction of making something complex work perfectly. Kevin's role in all of this cannot be understated. He remained gleeful and oblivious, messaging me at random intervals: "Are you still alive? Or maybe you should switch to Windows." And each time, I laughed, screamed, and cried silently at the terminal. I started to feel a strange respect for his ability to choose chaos with zero understanding. He had accidentally turned my week into a test of endurance, and somehow it worked. By the end of the week, I had finally mastered my Gentoo system, or at least mastered it enough to live with it. Packages compiled, updates were manageable, and my desktop was fast and fully customized. I had emerged from a week of absolute chaos with a system that was lean, mean, and perfectly tailored. Kevin, meanwhile, was smugly proud, even though he had no idea what he had done. Reflecting on the experience, I realized this experiment was more than a prank or a story. It was a lesson. It reminded me why Linux is special. It's not just an operating system. It's a philosophy. It's about control, knowledge, and understanding your tools. And sometimes letting someone completely foreign to your ecosystem make a choice throws you into a world you didn't even know existed. Would I do it again? Maybe. But only if I'm ready for another week-long odyssey of sleepless nights, endless compiling, and existential conversations with my computer. Kevin has already started plotting the next chaos experiment, and Linux will continue to surprise me, challenge me, and occasionally terrify me in ways I never thought possible. So that's the story of how I let a Windows user choose my Linux distro and why it ended in total, glorious chaos. A cautionary tale, definitely a hilarious adventure. Absolutely. And one thing is certain: Linux never fails to surprise those brave enough to dive in, especially when a Windows user makes the decisions for you. The lesson here: sometimes the worst choices lead to the most unforgettable experiences. And sometimes a little chaos is exactly what you need to appreciate the complexity, beauty, and sheer madness of Linux.